Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha. This is the Kohen speaking. On a wonderful new Shabbat, have a great week, and it's been a fruitful week. It's a good week. It's been pretty good weather this week. I'm not sure at your ends, but it's been pretty good weather this end, and there's been lots of activity. Remember, I told you that I was going to get a UPS done, and I have it done. It took me approximately 2 days. In fact, I put the plan together. The day I put it together, the next day my UPS was in place. This is how your plan should be. Your plan should not be, oh, I'm going to get it done, and 6 months later you're still thinking about it, how you're going to do it. This is what my point is, laser focus. When you people have laser focus, then you will develop laser focus manifestations as well. I'm going to read to you the passage from the book of Deuteronomy, chapters 29, verse 10. You should this day, all of you, before Yahweh your power, and your captains of your tribes, your elders and your officers with all the men of Israel, your infants, your wives, and the foreigners are in your camp, from the woodcutters to the ma'im carriers, that is the water carriers, that you should enter into covenant with Yahweh your power, and into his oath, which Yahweh your power makes you with this day. So he gives you two offers. He gives you an offer of a covenant. He gives you an offer of an oath. In fact, I was speaking about an oath with a student of mine just a couple of days back, and there is some confusion there. Excuse me, do we enter an oath? Do we enter a covenant? My very first question to you, those of you, millions of you who go through this room, who just think, oh, this is just another room and this is another place and we could just hang out over here for social gathering and, do a little chit chat and disappear. Are you in a covenant with the God of Israel, with the God of Abraham, with the God of Isaac, with the God of Jacob? Are you in a covenant? This is the first question that you need to answer for yourselves. Are you in a covenant, or are you in an oath? Well, a stranger can be in an oath. You don't need to be part of the tribes of Israel to be in a covenant. You can be a total stranger. You can be out there in the nations, and you can enter an oath and say that if you will do this for me, then I will do that for you. That's an oath, by the way. So the oath is written down, signed, sealed, and it can even have two witnesses. In some cases, because we are so far apart, you can just, make one witness. And if you don't have a witness, it's okay, because it's between you and God. And if you make me a witness, that's okay, because I'm the Kohen. I will be a witness to the oath, and I'll know that you made an oath. Now, as I said, an oath does not require you to be in covenant. An oath can be just with anybody. Even a foreigner can come to God, as many do, and can make an oath and go away. And when the oath is fulfilled, they come back, they do their offering, and they give their offering, and they're gone until next time. Now, a covenant is very important. A covenant is special. A covenant is not for Tom, Dick, and Harry. A covenant is for those people that are serious. Those people that want to be with God for the rest of their lives. They don't want to just come in for one oath every 10 years and say, well, I have a problem. I like to enter an oath. When this problem disappears, I will disappear as well. So a covenant, the very first question that you need to ask yourself, are you in covenant? There's only one answer to that, yes or no. Second part of the question to that covenant is, are you in compliance with the covenant? Because if you go back to the book of Genesis, Abraham's sons were told, Abraham was told that your son, who is 8 days old, must be circumcised. And if he's older, if Abraham happens to have come into the covenant like he did with Ishmael, And if Ishmael happened to be 13 years old, he still got circumcised. And if you happen to be, 99 years old, and you happen to come into the covenant, and unless you got some blood issue, unless you got some serious disease, you got to get circumcised. That's an oath. That's not an oath, that's a covenant, by the way. That's a covenant. In an oath, you're not asked to be circumcised. In a covenant, you're asked to be circumcised. Number one, are you circumcised? If you're in a covenant. Number two, do you tithe? Number three, do you give tzedakah? Number four, do you adhere to the commandments given to you, which include, of course, and not excluding Shabbat, festivals, other days that come, offerings that happen on those days. Number five, how sincere are you? Number six, are you backslidden or are you in a covenant? These are all important questions. For a prayer hearts. This question only you can answer. I can't answer it for you because I don't know if you're in an oath and I don't know if you're in a covenant. I don't know neither. Well, my student the other day, I know she said some oaths, but I also know she's in covenant as well. So you can be doing both. You can be in a covenant and you can be in an oath. As I've said in the past, an oath is very powerful because it puts responsibility on God's side. It doesn't ask you to write 1,000 scripts. It doesn't say to you that now you got to write it 1,000 times before it happens. You got to speak it 1,000 times before it happens. Because an oath puts the onus on God, not on you. But in a covenant, the oath, or I should say, the covenant requirements, the onus is on you. And of course, God will do His bit, but you must do your bit as well. You can't have it 90% or 99% and 1%, where God does 99% and you do 1%. You can't have it like that. In a covenant, you must be 99% you, and 1% consider God to take that 1% part and fulfill it. So, I think the most important question today, the date of the Shabbat, today, the 4th of September, the most important date is, are you in the covenant? Now, we have got Rosh Hashanah 19, Feast of Trumpets coming up, and that's a great time to be in a covenant. It's a great time to make a covenant with God. If you're not, it's a great time to make a covenant. A covenant will secure your life. It means that God has to supply your needs. It means that God has to take care of your means. It means that God has to be there everywhere for you. It's 99-1. In other words, 99% is God's responsibility now, and 1% is yours. But that 1% responsibility, my goodness, majority of you don't even feel that. You have no shame about it. You don't tithe, you don't give tzedakah, you don't you don't give no charitable offerings, and you call yourself Israelite. Shame on you. You are not an Israelite. You are just a Gentile, behaving like an Israelite. These are the covenant requirements. What did Jacob say to God? In the book of Genesis, when Jacob was facing God, and he was facing some difficulties, what did he say to God? He said a few important words to God, and he took it to heart, and Jacob was being very serious. He wasn't dilly-dallying around. He wasn't thinking, well, today I will do one thing and tomorrow I'll do one thing. Jacob gave God a promise, and Jacob said to God in the book of Genesis, we can look at that. Remember when Jacob went to the mountain? He went to the mountain, and in Genesis 28:20, he was in the mountain, and Jacob says, made a vow, saying, if God will be with me and will watch me over me on this journey I'm taking and will give me food to eat and clothes to wear. Okay? Food to eat and clothes to wear so that I return safely to my father's household. Then the Lord will be my God. And this stone that I've set up as a pillar will be God's house, and of all that you give me, he is now telling God, all that you give me, I will give you a tenth. How many of you done that? I don't remember many of you ever taking such a vow and doing that. Very few of you ever even carried out such a vow. 1 minute you're with God, and 1 minute with a nanny down the road who becomes your God. 1 minute you're with God, next minute with your nanny. She becomes your God. You don't have a God. You have a joke. And your joke is not going to get you your manifestations done. And when you stop, when you come out of your jokes, and when you become serious, and you're seriously with God, then God will take you seriously. Then things will start to shake and move. So, is it going to be the nanny? Is it going to be God? You got to decide that. And you got to make that offer. You got to make that oath. You got to make that covenant. And I told you, 19th is around the corner. Rosh Hashanah is around the corner. It's a perfect time to make an oath. Perfect time to come before God and say, look, I've made many mistakes. I've been foolish. I've done so many stupid things. I've wasted my money on booze and girls and all sorts of bullshit that I've done. But now it's time for me to come straight. Now for me to come straight and set myself straight before you. Did you know that before you even get your salary, you're supposed to pay God first? But what do? You pay everybody else, and God waits in the line, and then by the time God's turn comes, you have nothing for him. That's what you do. Quite shameful, really. Quite shameful. This is how you treat God. So, I'm giving you the 19th of September as a date for Feast of Trumpets, because then after Feast of Trumpets we will have the great harvest festival. First we will have Yom Kippur, the 10 days of mourning, then we'll have the great festival called Yom Sukkot, and then you're ready to go. Okay? These are the mistakes that you are making. I am pointing out to you the mistakes that you are making. And the mistakes that you make will carry you to your life and to your death. There is no turn back. There is no turning back. When Abraham left his land, when God told Abraham to leave your father's land, there was no turning back. Abraham couldn't say halfway, oh, I'm tired. Oh, I can't see the promised land. I don't see where it is. Can you guide me? Can you give me a compass? Or maybe I should go back for a few days and relax and try again. There is no coming back. You're either in or you're out. I remember in 2015, Rabbi Kefa, you remember, I believe there were over 12 rabbis. How many do we have left? I think we count on our fingers now how many we've left. I'll be very surprised if we have about 5 rabbis left. That's how faithful they all are. Totally unfaithful. And totally disregarding what they swore, the covenants they swore, totally disregarded it. But what do you think? Do you think God is mocking? You think God can be mocked? and you can just say something and mock God and walk away, He will take revenge. God's revenge is very sweet. He will put you down so much that you will, my goodness, you'll be like washed like in a machine. You'll be spinning in a machine and you will come out real dry. That's the way God will wash you. And good thing too. Some people need that. But having said that, my point is not that so much what God does with you. He can do with you what He likes. But my point is this, that you have two choices. You can be a Gentile and come with an oath. And you can be an Israelite, you can come with a covenant. And both are very powerful. Or you can be both. You can be an Israelite and you can have both covenant and oath. And covenant and oath, God will never disregard. He will never disregard an oath. He will never disregard a covenant. He will always fulfill it. It is in my life that I have seen, my 26 years of ministry, I have seen that God has never disregarded an oath and never disregarded a covenant. I mean, if you go back, maybe you can even, some of you can check in your lives that God will never do that. Promise is a promise. And a promise is always kept by God. Now, the mistakes. What are the mistakes that you're making? Number one, the mistake that you make, you don't have a plan. A plan basically is something that you have to manifest in your life, a desire. A plan can be a house that you want to live with your family. A plan can be a car that you want to drive for your family. A plan can be a plot of land. A plan can be a job. A plan can be a number of things. And all those number of things form part of a plan that you bring before God, and you can write it down. The only reason you write it down, it doesn't have to be written down. If you can memorize it, is great. Only reason you write it down, so that you remember it when you speak it. When you speak it in front of your mirror, you remember it. That, this is my plan. I want to do this. I don't forget. And I told you to do the affirmations. I told you to drop the affirmations and go with the affirmations. What are affirmations? They're all why statements. If some of you want to lose weight, why have I lost 20 pounds of body weight? That's an affirmation. Or the other one will be, I have lost 20 pounds of body weight. That's an affirmation. You want to do an affirmation. Why have I lost 20 pounds of body weight? And I have a beautiful body. That's an affirmation. You want to have an affirmation. Then, the other affirmation. Why have I received a large sum of money? Why I receive a fat paycheck each month? Why my name is in the highest earners of the world? Why am I receiving so much money from all directions? These are all affirmations. They are great affirmations. They are great affirmations. Why am I part of the 10%, highest 10% earners of the world? Why am I part of the highest 10% earners of the world? Would you like to be 10% earners of the world? Or would you like to be standing in the queue begging for money from the Social Security and trying to explain to them with their 15,000 forms why you still haven't found a job? Which one would you like to be? Ask yourself that. It's an important question. It's an important question. When you go to Social Security, whether it's England, whether it's America, they'll ask you a million questions. They'll ask you to fill in about 15 different forms. And they'll want to know explanation why you haven't got a job yet, or how many jobs have you tried, before they're giving him a dime. So, where would you want to be? Would you want to be the highest 10% earners? who don't have to explain nothing and they have businesses running left, right, and center? Or would you want to be standing by the dole queue with everybody else and explaining, well, I tried for 10 jobs this week, but I didn't get answer to none. And so here I am. I'm down and out. I haven't got money for bread. I can't pay my bills. Can you please help me? Is that where you want to be? Well, without a covenant, that's where you will be. When you don't have a covenant, that's where you will be standing in that line. And thank God that I've never stood in that line. I've never had to go explain why I haven't got money to pay my bills. Thank God for that. I will give you a testimony that you blow your mind off. It's been since 1998. I have never gone to the dole queue. I have never told them that I don't have money. I've never said to them that why I don't have money, why I can't pay my bills, because God has always provided. I'm in covenant. I'm in covenant, baby. I'm in an oath, baby. I will never have that problem. But if you want to be, then you can be. That's your choice. You know, these are the kind of affirmations that you need to have. Why I'm grateful to making a 7-figure annual income. Why am I manifesting self-manifested millionaire? Or why am I a self-manifested millionaire? Why am I a self-manifested millionaire? Do you believe it? Do you believe it? This is the other problem, that many of you don't believe it. You need to believe this thing. You need to stand in front of the mirror and speak it, and you need to believe it. Why my manifestations happen fast and the same day take effect. Also remember the why affirmations. Why my manifestations happen fast and the same day take effect. This is how you need to be writing. Why am I financially secured? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with financially secured? Millions of people are. Why can't you be financially secured? Millions of people are financially secured. Why not? You need to be too. Why have I many successful businesses? And as far as coming to the lottery jackpot, why am I a lottery jackpot winner enjoying millions of dollars? What's wrong with that? Why? Other people are not enjoying it? Why? You are something special that you can't? You have every quality to enjoy the lottery jackpot. Why am I a lottery jackpot winner enjoying millions of dollars? And you should. Why miracles are happening for me all the time? These things need to happen for you. And if these things are not happening for you, then there are problems. The Lord shall fight for me, and I shall hold my peace. The Lord is my strength and song, and He has become my salvation. He is my power. These are where you should be. This is where you should be. This is where you should be. And if you're not over here, then you need to align yourself to bring yourself over here. I'm giving you guiding notes. I'm giving you guidance. Rabbi Kefa has known me for must be at least 10 years. Rabbi Kefa, you've known me for at least 10 years. Maybe 10, maybe more. Rabbi Zechariah has known me for maybe a lot longer than 10 years. How many times have I said to Rabbi Zechariah that I'm going to the dole queue to claim my weekly dole money? How many times have I said to Rabbi Kefa, I'm down and out. I've got no money for food. Can you please send me some food help? They are your testimony. They are there. They can tell you. I give money to people. I don't receive it. I hand out to people. People come to me to help. They come to me to give them help. They come to my door and say that I've got no food, and I give them food. This is the reverse testimony of me, Baruch Hashem Yahweh. And I will continue to do that, and I will continue to build, and I will continue to build businesses, and I will continue to build my life, because I have the secret and you have the secret. Question is, are you applying the secret? See, when we start to be stingy and we start to be, stingy, and we start to hoard our wealth, and we say, well, I've got $1,000 and I want to spend it, 800 on bills and 200 is going to left, and I'll spend it on my clothes, and that's it, 1,000 gone. Where's God in all of that? Where is God in all of that? God is not present. God is not in the oath. God is not in the covenant. Then to hell with God, to hell with you. Then you're going to get nothing from God. You're just going to be like every other person out there who's crying, whinging, and suffering. You are creating your own suffering. The day you decide that you want to stop this suffering, that you want to put yourself straight, that is the day your life will start to change. And I told you, the covenant is around the corner. 19th of September is not far away. You don't even have to wait for 19th of September. You could do it today. You could sit down today and you could say, the Lord God of Israel, the Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, today I make a covenant with you that whatever you give me, that I will return to you what is due to you. I will return to you your tithes, your zadaqah, and you give me food to eat, you give me place to live, and I will walk with you the rest of my days of my life. Signed, Mr. So-and-so. Date, so-and-so. That is your covenant. Once you do your covenant, your life will change. And then next time you stand in front of the mirror and you say that I'm making millions of dollars, or why am I making millions of dollars? Then those millions of dollars will start to materialize. Things will start to happen. Things will start to change. Things will change. It will happen. Your belief system must be intact. Jesus said that if you believe, He didn't say that if you don't believe, that if you believe. When He healed that woman, He didn't say to her, oh, your disbelief has healed you. He said, your belief has healed you. Your belief. You must believe. When you believe and you act, you will receive. Just to be a little patient. Things can take a little, because you've been so far out into the left that, or right, whichever way you want to put it, you're so far out into the right, you need to bring yourself into the center. Once you bring yourself into the center, you will start to see manifestations come after manifestations. And you will be surprised that you're getting so many manifestations. So many manifestations. In verse 21 of Deuteronomy 29 it says, and Yahweh shall separate him to evil out of all the tribes of Israel, according to all the curses of the covenant that are written in the scroll of the Torah, so that the generations to come of your children shall rise up after you, and the foreigner that shall come from a far land shall say, when they see the plagues of that land, and the sicknesses which Yahweh has laid upon it, that the whole land there is brimstone and salt and burning, that it is not sown, nor does it bear, nor any grass grows therein, like the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboim, which Yahweh overthrew in his anger, in his indignation. Even all the nations shall say, why has Yahweh done this to this land? What is the meaning of this heated great anger? Then men shall say, because they have forsaken the covenant of Yahweh, Elohim, of their fathers, which He made with them when He brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim. When you forsake the covenant, you do not tithe, you do not zadaqah, you do not sabbath, you don't keep your Sabbaths, you don't keep your festivals, you don't keep your holy days, you don't give And you expect to be rich? Come on, you expect to be rich? You're going to be down the queue and they're going to kick your backside and they're going to tell you, F off and come back in 2 weeks' time. We haven't got time for you. That's how it's going to be. When you behave like that with God, what do you think God will behave like you? What kind of behavior will He give you? He will give you the same behavior back because you are nothing but an evil person who has not acted out the right things. God expects you to fulfill at least your part of the covenant so that He may also do His part. When you stand there in front of yourself in the mirror every day, ask yourself, are you doing your part of the covenant? Or are you just playing along? You just expect money to just roll down from the sky, dollars falling down, $100 bills, and that's it, everything's going to work out great. No. You must apply yourself diligently. My request to you today, call it a request, it should be a commandment, that you should apply the covenant. You should seek the covenant. You should ask for the covenant. You should remind God that you made a covenant with God and God needs to deliver the covenant. And God will deliver the covenant. If you remind God that I have made a covenant with you, Master of heaven and earth, then you need to deliver the covenant. God will deliver the covenant. And you continue to do your affirmations, no problem. Your affirmations, you continue to do them. Don't dishearten. Continue to do them. They will come. But you must be diligent. Don't give up. Don't give up because the neighbor didn't get it, and Jack didn't get it, and Doe didn't get it, and David didn't get it. It doesn't matter who didn't get it. You're the one who's going to get it. But you got to be diligent. You got to be diligent. Money will follow you. Once you adhere to the covenant, wealth will follow you. If you do not adhere to the covenant, wealth will leave you. Wealth will leave you so fast that you're going to wonder what happened. What happened to all my money? What happened? Everything just disappeared. Wealth will leave you. But if you adhere to the covenant, wealth will never leave you. Wealth will be with you forever, forever, and forever. People will come to you for advice. People will know that you're a part of the covenant people. Be a covenant person. Be part of the covenant, and you will get what you want. Anyhow, so I'm going to leave it at that and pass it to Rabbi Kefa. Over to you, to and to.
I'll keep it moving. I think enough is said there on that front, for sure. Yeah, Mishpaha. Okay, you're okay? Everything's A-okay, Hakoin? Because I can keep it moving. All right, great. All right, well, here we go. We're going to keep it moving because this parsha is powerful. Because it really, Hakoin said something last Shabbat that really stuck with me, is to get to the point. How many of you like people that just get right to the point? They don't beat around the bush. They just get right to the point. You know, they're not trying. They're not here trying to sell you some snake oil, you know, and telling you how wonderful it is, and they can do all this, that, the other, and the third. No, they just get right to the point. They show you the evidence. They show you the testing. It's been proven and tested, and they just get right to the point to where it's up to the individual to come to a decision-making process of saying, am I going to choose to do? Am I going to choose to make this circulation? Am I going to choose to make this purchase or not? Because, every day, believe it or not, somebody's trying to sell you something. You know what I mean? Somebody's trying to convince you of something. Somebody's trying to, entertain you in a way that will sway you to their particular ideology, how they think, Because if you have friends, well, those friends that are not such quote unquote friends, they'll try to put you in a box and try to make you hang with a particular type of crowd. Because if you're not in that crowd, then they don't consider you a friend. If you don't agree with the way they agree, then they don't consider you a friend. You see that here in North America big time. You know how they have the separation of parties and all this, that, the other. If you're not a Republican, then you can't talk to a Democrat. They're coming up on their high holy days as well. They call them their festivals or, their holidays. And what you'll see is around Thanksgiving. This is one of the big things that a lot of people can't get together because, I'm not going to see my mama because she's a Republican and I'm a Democrat and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go see my father and sit down at the table and eat with him because he voted for President Trump. You know what I mean? So you see a lot of this going on to where they're convincing you to follow or to put yourself in a category in a particular group. They're trying to group you. And you cannot be grouped, but yes, you can if you desire to be grouped. You see? If you choose to be grouped, you know what I mean? And so all the snake oil salesmen out there, everybody that's out there trying to sell you something, sell a friendship, sell any kind of business relationship. If you're a business owner, you have to be good at selling yourself and selling your business and also great at telling the story, Shane, y'all. You have to be able to tell a story. You have to be able to get your point across to that other person on the other side in that relationship. Because that's what life is all about. It's all about relationships. So you have to be able to tell a story. You have to be able to get your story across. And in such a way to where it influences individuals to want to, come on board with you. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, life is all about relationships. It is. That's what life is all about. But we can't sit here and point the finger at everyone else on why our relationships are sour or why that snake salesman sold me that, crock of shit. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you can't blame the snake salesman, right? Who takes the blame at the end of the day? The person that made the choice. It's you and I. We're the ones that made the choice based on what? What are you making your choices based on? You see, that's important. This is why this parsha is so very important, because this parsha, Nitzavim, gets right to the point. It really does. It gets right to the point of right to the point of life. It really does. Everybody's living a life. Life doesn't take sides. Life is not Republican. Life is not Democrat. Life is not a liberal, and life is not a conservative. Life is just life. And it's just life if you want it to be just life, or do you want to live that abundance of a life? Do you want to live that, a life that's more extreme, or a life that's just more abundant, a life that's more fruitful than you imagine? Because it can be, because it's all in your imagination and what you believe about yourself. It really is. Life is so simple, yet mankind has made life so complex and difficult. But life is very, very simple when you get to the point. And see, a lot of folks dance around getting to the point. They don't want to let's get right to the point. No, they want to say, well, I'm going to blame Sally. I'm going to blame Bill. I'm going to blame Sam. I'm going to blame that snake oil salesman. I'm going to put the blame on everybody and lottie-dottie. I'm going to blame everybody why my life is so miserable, why I'm so unsuccessful, why I'm totally not happy, why I'm totally in depression because of what everybody else did. And if you sit here and analyze, if you ever talk to somebody that's depressed, how many of you ever had a conversation with somebody they'll tell you, they say, I'm depressed. And you'll sit there and you listen to them. And they'll sit there and tell you everything that everybody has done to them. You ever notice that? Oh, yeah. You know why I'm depressed? Because my wife left me. You know why I'm depressed? Because, my boss fired me. You know what I mean, Oliver? They never take the blame. They never take the responsibility. And this is why they're in that particular state of depression. It's because they never take the responsibility. They never take the weight onto themselves. Little Wayne, Shabbat Shalom to you. Welcome. That's a cool little name you have there, Little Wayne. But, that's the issue. As a student of human nature, you have to realize this, is that we all human beings and we all neighbors on this planet Earth. And we all have to either learn to get along as good neighbors or, the opposite side of that, then you become bad neighbors. You don't talk to each other, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, individuals have to realize that they have to take responsibility. At the end of the day, everything has happened to them because of the choices that they made. That's just real. True Joy Ministry, Shabbat Shalom to you as well. Welcome again to the book. You understand, Mishpah? This life, the formula for life, the strategy for life is truly not difficult at all. It's not difficult. Yet, folks have heaped so much stuff on them and have received and accepted so many things into their life that their lives have become, I'm going to say it just the way they say it, their lives have become so overwhelmed. How many of you heard that word before? You hear people use this word, man. I'm so overwhelmed. I have this, that, the other, and the third going on. And my life is just so overwhelmed. And I can't make $1 out of 15 cents because my life is so overwhelmed. And I'm so confused. They tell you, I'm so confused. I mean, well, what's to be confused by it? You should be giving thanks and honor and praise that you woke up this morning and that you're breathing, not from a artificial machine, but that you can breathe and then you can walk and talk. You know what I mean, Nehemiah? They sit there and they give you this whole rundown. Why? It's because, just like I said, these are people who haven't got to the point. They haven't got just to get right down to the point. And I wrote this down. Life has nothing to do with anything or anybody but you. I'm going to say that again. Life has nothing to do with anything or anybody but you. And when you come to that realization and that revelation, my goodness, the light bulbs start flickering. Your dreadlocks are sticking up straight in the air. And, like when you play with that thing at the museum, you touch that ball that's magnetized, and then you touch it, and then all your hair just starts sticking. That's just how it is when you come to that realization. And that's a realization of the heart. Our Torah speaks time and time again about taking this to the heart. We're going to read that in a minute, but your heart is very important. Why? It's because just like our Kohen has taught us, there's an attachment, an emotional attachment that has to be with this. Our Kohen's lecture was talking about the covenant. The covenant. It's about you. If you're not connected, if your heart's not in it, then you're not going to stay in it long, right? How many of you heard so many times, oh man, this person broke my heart. Oh, my heart is broken. That person broke my heart. Blah, blah, blah. Why? It's because, and truly they're speaking from the very depths of themselves because they were attached. They had emotions and feelings that they had an attachment there, and that's important. If you're going to see anything through, you got to have your heart in it. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're going to see anything through, come Shiloh or Sheol, you have to have your heart in it. You have to have your heart in it. You have to be sold out, like they say. You have to have your heart in it, truly. So when you're on top of the mountain or you're in the valley, your heart's still in it, and you're going to see it through. Whatever the situation may be, whatever the circumstance may be, whatever the experience may be, you got to have your heart in it. And see, what people play on as a student of human nature is they'll sit there and they'll play with your heart. You know what I mean? They'll sit there and give you this feeling. Man, I'm telling you, religion is good about doing this, man. They give you this feeling. They give you this feeling for a minute, and then the feeling goes away. And then what do? You're like an addict. You're like a dope fiend. How many of you ever seen a dope fiend? Have you ever seen anybody that's been addicted to crack cocaine? Anybody? Any of you in this room? You've seen somebody that's, they're addicted. They have an addiction. It could be a sex addiction. It could be a drug addiction. It could be a chocolate addiction. It could be you can be addicted to anything. And so, they're good for a minute. But then they have to go get that. They call it the fix. Man, I got to go get my fix. I tell you, in the relations that I've had in the past, I've sat with people. And I tell you, if you haven't done this, I would encourage you to do this. How many of you have ever sat in an AA meeting? Anybody? Go to those meetings. They're interesting because they're not only for Alcoholic Anonymous, they also put the drug fiends, the people that have drug addictions, they'll put them in AA. If you've been to an AA meeting, put up an AA. Anybody else? I would encourage you to go sit in these meetings. They're very interesting because people begin to open up and they realize they begin to connect with themselves. And they, in them AA meetings, it's all about getting directly to the point. You have them in your city, in your town. I guarantee you have them because they're state funded and federally funded as well to help people break their addictions, to come out of these bad addictions. Because I'm going to tell you right now, having addictions, that's not a bad thing. I'm addicted to money. I'm addicted to my beautiful, lovely wife. I'm addicted to her. Addictions are not bad if you know how to control them. You understand what I'm saying? You can have good addictions. Anybody in this room have an addiction? You can have good addictions and you can have bad ones. You see, you just don't want these addictions that's going to affect your body, affect your temple, affect your mind where you cannot function properly, to where you cannot be exceedingly blessed and increased and benefited. You see, there are positive addictions out there, and there's also negative addictions. But with those AA meetings, you know what I've noticed is that you sit in these meetings and people really get right to the point with themselves. It breaks them down. You can't blame the drugs no more. So what was the root cause? Is that it was that choice that I made X amount of years ago to put myself on this path of drug addiction. Now I realize it was me. See, AA meetings gets you to the point to where it helps you realize that it was you. It was your choice. It was your decision that put you in this particular predicament that you're in right now. It wasn't Mama and them. It wasn't that friend that gave you the money to get you the drugs. It wasn't anything else, but it wasn't that drug dealer. It was yourself. You made the choice. So let's get right to the point this day when we look at life. Because just as I wrote down, life has nothing to do with anything or anybody but you. My life has nothing to do with anything, anybody but myself. I can't sit here and pass the blame and point the finger. That's old. That's romper room stuff. Let that stuff go. That's child's play. You don't need that. Preschool type stuff. No. We have to man up and woman up and come to the realization. And the sooner you do that, the better for yourself. The sooner you begin to connect with yourself, the sooner you begin to realize, man, let me take all this information in and let me analyze it so that I can make a wise choice, that I can make a choice that I'm comfortable with. Not based on me following a crowd or because everybody else is doing it. How many of you went down that road before and realized that that's not a proper way to make choices just because everybody else is doing it? No, I need to make choices based upon me taking the evidence in, taking all of the study in, the testing, and say, okay, this will work for me, or I like this, or this is my type of personality, this is what I want, and then go for it, go get it. And be addicted and just go get it. And realize in your heart that nobody or no thing or no situation or not anybody or anything is going to stop me from pursuing. It's going to stop me from attaining that want or that desire that I want for myself at the end of the day, man. That's what it is. Then have your antennas up for that opportunity or that moment. Because opportunity, and let me tell you this, opportunity does knock more than one time. Baruch Hashem. What the God of Israel does, opportunity does knock more than one time. So it's not like you see, and a lot of people fail because of this. Oh man, that was my only chance. I'm never gonna get this chance again. That's pig water. How many of you heard that before? That was my only and my last opportunity. So that means a person gives up. And he says, okay, that's it. I'm going to give up. No, you don't give up if your heart is in it. You say, okay, this experiment failed. Let's move on to the next one. This opportunity closed. This door closed. Let's go open those 10 other doors, even though this one closed up. So many different ways. This is why you don't worry about the how. You concentrate on the now and say, okay, I got it now. I got it now. Even though doors are closing in your face, rejection is slamming, it's laughing at you, and people are just telling you no, no, no. You keep saying yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. There's this one real estate mentor that I follow. This guy is really good. You know, he's really good. But he said in the beginning, he said banks would tell him no. He would want loans for this, that, the other, and the banks would tell him no. When no, he'd get rejected, go to this bank, they tell him no, until one day one bank finally told him yes. And he kept telling himself that when he would leave those banks that would tell him no, he said, okay, no problem. I'm just going to go to the next bank that's going to tell me yes. There is a bank out there that's going to tell me yes. I'm going to keep asking. I'm going to keep bringing my portfolio and writing my plans up, and somebody will tell me yes. And I'm going to keep going. And, you know, there's so many banks in the world. You're not the only bank out there. You're telling me no. You're not the only bank out there. That's him understanding about relationships. Is that one relationship fails? Okay, next one up. But for some folks, oh, man, one relationship fails, they quit relationships altogether. Oh, Rabbi Kefa, I'm never dating a man again. I'm never going to get in a relationship again because that man hurt me. See what I mean? When you need to tell them, oh, there's so many fish in the ocean, like my father tells me. You don't have to settle for just one. There's so many fish out there. That one fish rejected you. There's 50,000 more fish out there that will accept you, Baruch Hashem. They give you more opportunity, Baruch Hashem. Everything in life happens for a reason. Everything. Believe it. But again, this all boils down to us doing what? To us, with ourselves, getting right to the point and understanding that life has nothing to do with anything or anybody but you and I. And when you begin to take it from there, then you can make choices that are based upon how you feel and not how somebody else is trying to make you feel. I mean, you've been down that route. Man, I've been in some relations where they just try to make you feel, you know, they try to make you feel good. When, again, religions will do that. I've been in that kind of stuff. They make you feel good for a minute, but then it wears off, right? There's no lasting effect to it. Why? It's because your heart wasn't in it. I realize that going through catechism and Catholicism and Christianity. I realized that it was a feeling. And so, Atara, I had to go to church, Sunday church, to get my next fix, right? And then Sunday church wasn't good enough to where I had to go to Wednesday Bible school, Nehemiah, to get that fix. You know what I mean? To get that fix. Oh, yeah, that feel-good fix. So then I became dependent upon, the religious system because I wanted that feeling. And this is how they play you. There's nothing wrong with feeling when it's utilized properly. Well, when people are using feeling to draw you in, then there's a problem. But when you feel it yourself and you know that you know, see, nobody in the world can't tell me that I'm not Israel. I know that I know I'm Israel. I don't care what you say. Well, you don't look like Israel. Well, how does Israel look, sir? Because that's the rejection I got here in San Antonio when I went to their synagogues. Well, you don't look like you're a Jew. Are you here to get the trash? No, I'm not here to get the trash. I'm here to serve Hashem, to give praise to Hashem, and to lift up the name of Hashem, Baruch Hashem, and to pay homage to Hashem. No, but I didn't look like Israel. You don't look like Israel. Well, how does Israel look, sir? Tell me. You know what I mean? Well, they're the ones perpetrating the fraud, Baruch Hashem. But that's neither here nor there. But that was a great lesson for me. Because it kept me out of that path of just Judaism. I didn't want to go down another religious path. I wanted life, not a religion. And for those of you who are listening via, Facebook or you're listening on YouTube, that should be your mantra. You want life, not religion. You want to live a life that's exceedingly abundant, that's exceedingly blessed and full of happiness and peace and love and joy. And that can be. This is not some kind of Hollywood fictitious, fantasy land. This can be real if you want it real, or it can be fantasy if you want it fantasy. What do you choose? So when we look at Deuteronomy chapter 30, and I read from the Abrahamic-Faith Bible, the Hidden Truth We Break Scrolls. You don't have this Bible, please get it, add it to your repertoire, add it to your library, utilize it, compare it with all these concordances and other things that you have, and you'll see that just the commentary itself just will blow you away and really give you understanding about life, real life, reality. Deuteronomy chapter 30, starting in verse 10. You shall carefully listen to the voice of Yahweh your power to guard his commandments and his statutes which are written in the scroll of the Torah. If you return, and you get this, and if you return to Yahweh your power with all of your heart and with all of your soul. See what I mean? And Torah times and time again talk about with all of your heart, with all of your soul, with all of your heart and with all of your soul. What is the Torah trying to tell us here? Is that there has to be a feel you moment, Nehemiah. You have to feel it. It has to become real. You have to have feeling. You have to feel it. You just can't one off it. You got to feel it. It has to come from your heart. That's your emotion. It's got to be real. You know, all those years, people messing with your emotions. Now you have your emotions in check, and you understand that your emotions are important. They're very important. Otherwise, the creator of all things wouldn't give us emotions, right? Think about that. If emotions wasn't important, then why did the creator of all things give us emotions? To be able to feel happiness, to be able to feel joy and peace and love. But also at the same time, with the universal laws, you know, with the yin, you have to have the yang, right? You also can, feel pain and suffering and depression and sadness at the same time. But again, when you get right back to the point, it's about how you choose to live and how you choose to feel. How do you choose to feel this day? Because that's how you're going to feel. When you wake up in the morning and you've been blessed to wake up and honored to wake up another day on the face and walk the face of this earth, how you feel? Oh, no. Do you feel like Eeyore? Oh, here we go. Another day, another 15 cents. Instead, oh, no, great, another day, another $1 million day, Baruch Hashem, let's go get it. Let's go conquer the world. I'm a conqueror. I'm codenamed the barbarian, and I cannot be stopped. I'm unstoppable. Let's go and conquer this day. Let's go and make this day the greatest day ever. Baruch Hashem. Like how Kohen says, yeah, baby. Yeah, baby, because that's real. That's the reality that I live in. I live, woe is me. Let me see if I can make this dollar out of 15 cents so I can pay this bill. Oh, woe is me. Oh, man, my back is already hurting. That means it's going to rain today. You know how they do? Oh, yeah, we're going to have a rainy day, and my back is hurting, and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not Eeyore. No, I don't have Eeyore mentality. I don't feel like Eeyore. I feel like $1 million. I feel like I can conquer the war. I'm a conqueror. I'm codenamed the barbarian, and I cannot be stopped. Life is beautiful. It's wonderful. I'm breathing. I'm walking, and I'm talking, and I'm giving gratitude and thanks to the power of all things for the ability to be able to do and be anything that I desire to be for myself. That's what's up. Baruch Hashem. That's life. But life is, we control. Do you understand? You control your life. You control it. But a lot of folks have given the keys of their life to other people to control it and tell them, okay, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to be, Baruch Hashem. And they just turn it over. They give up the keys. Take the keys back to the kingdom. Take the keys back to unlock any door that you want to open and to close doors that you want to close. You have that ability. That's within your realm of capacity. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. But it's all, and somebody mentioned this earlier, it's all about a mindset. Coco Room, Shabbat Shalom to you, and welcome to the room. So this is very, very important to understand. Is to utilize everything in your life and chalk it up as a learning experience. Learn from it. Learn from the experience so that it'll propel you. We talked about this, that'll push you forward Forward to where? Forward to whatever you desire for yourself. Forward to wherever you're feeling. What are you feeling for yourself? What do you want for yourself? Peace, love, joy, and happiness? Well, just like Kokolu was saying, well, sometimes, there's suffering gonna come your way. Smile at it. Sometimes sickness may come your way. Laugh at it. Baruch Hashem. Because greater is he that is within you than he that is in the world. Baruch Hashem. That's real. Kokolu saying, I worship God, but I don't believe Torah. It's okay. If it's okay for you, it's okay for you. Baruch Hashem. If you worshiping God that way and you finding your peace, love, joy, and happiness, then I say, hey, more power to you, Kokolu. That's you. And, find your happiness, find your peace, find your love, find your joy, and roll with it, and have a wonderful life doing it. Because I'm not here to judge you. See, it's not a religious room here. We're not here to judge people. We just, on the flip side, want the same thing. We don't want you to come in here judging us. You see what I mean? This is what make the world. You see, in this particular kind of relationship, we can agree to disagree, right, Ohio 5? We don't all have to just get along with one another and all follow the same path. No, and all be robots. No, we all have our own ability to be able to choose what we're talking about today. And I appreciate you, Coco Lou. You coming in, you get right to the point. Didn't Coco Lou, I don't know if you were he or she, but didn't this person come in here and get right to the point? Let's get right to the point. I love God, but, I don't follow the Torah. I don't believe in the Torah. Then that's you. That's your life. Yeah. Be happy. But what do we see coming here through here time and time again? People coming here through and they have an agenda. They're coming in here to try to change you. I was having discussions with my wife the other day. She was like, America has went into many. She said, honey, what do you think about America going into Vietnam and how all that played out? I was like, well, America tries to go into places and force their lifestyle and way of life on folks that don't want that way of lifestyle. They're happy with the lifestyle that they do have. We talked about Vietnam. We talked about, the recent Afghanistan history, and what do you see? And what do you see? It'll work for a little while because it's propped up. But then once you pull out, everybody's going to revert back to what they know and love. Do you see that? That's just what's happening in Afghanistan. They revert back to what they know and love and what they want to cling to. You can only prop it up for so long. I was propped up in Catholicism for a very long time, but you can only prop it up for so long. Propped up in Christianity for a long time, but you can only prop it up for so long. Then how many of you seen The Wizard of Oz? Then it's like The Wizard of Oz. Then you go back there and you pull a curtain and you realize, man, this dude is no wizard. This is a man back here controlling some machines, man. And then you realize, man, come on, man. You can't grant me my wishes. You can't give me what I desire. You see where we're going? You realize you pull up behind the screen, oh, man, this is just smoke screen. It's a smoke screen. I'm being hoodwinked, I'm being bamboozled. And I realize, man, this is just not cutting the cake. I'm not living a quality of a life. I'm a robot. I'm going through the motions. I'm just playing the same old record. Why? It's because I began to have internal relationships with myself, and I began to realize that. And I began to search my heart, and I began to feel things, just like we read in Deuteronomy chapter 30, verses 10. With all of your heart and with all of your soul. With all of your heart and with all of your soul. That's what it's about. Whatever you feel, with all of your heart and all of your soul, pursue it. True Joy says, Rabbi Kefa, please pray for my ministry with the orphan children and poor widows. Okay, True Joy Ministries, what do you want me to pray? Tell me exactly. Be specific. Remember we talked about snipers? Tell me exactly what you want me to pray for your ministry with the orphan children and the widows. What do you want? You see, let's be specific here. Because when we go to the power of all things, be specific. When you know exactly what you want, then you can go get it. But if you generalize things, then you leave too many doors open for the provision of Yahweh. To do what? For provision of what? Provision of peace, provision of love, joy, peace, and happiness, provision of monetary wealth, provision of a full stomach, Baruch Hashem. Because what you want. See, we got to laser focus in on exactly what we want. To give food and medical aid. There you go, True Joy Ministries. Put a laser point exactly what you want. So you can focus on going and get it and watching it come in. And not some generalized thing. Oh, I think this must have been God that did this. No. What's going to happen to you is what you want done. Period. At the end of the day. Why? Because you get right to the point. Shabbat Shalom, Dr. Sean Clopas. Because you get it right to the point. Right now, Sean, we want to get right to the point. We don't want to pussyfoot around. We don't want to beat around the bush here. This is life. You know, how many of you want to go through life halfway? Half-cocked? You know, and nobody wants it. Well, I can't say nobody wants to do that because some people do, and they're very comfortable in doing that. But we're not here to persuade people, you see. It's my request, as True Joy Minister said, it's my request for the monetary support to buy food and medical aid. There you go. Now you see and you say that the food and medical aid is already here. It's here now. And you give thanks and gratitude for the power of all things for bringing in. You know, don't worry about the why. Don't worry about the how it's going to happen. You know, you could go play the lottery tomorrow and you could win millions. You know, don't worry about the why and the how. We don't worry about all that. You just give thanks that it's here already now. And you see those children fed. And you see that medical support coming in. And you see it and it will be. As you see, it will be, True Joy Ministry. That's real. It's not difficult, Miss Bahar. Remember we talked about earlier. Life is truly not difficult, not Sean. Life is very simple, very easy. But people make it so complex and difficult to where they go through a day and they won't even smile. Much less give gratitude and thanks to the powers of all things, to the God of Israel, for making a way when there is no way. You see? Because they can't see the way, there is a way. And matter of fact, let's make that plural. There are ways. Let me count the ways, Baruch Hashem, because there are ways. But don't focus on the how. Just focus on the now, right now, that it's already now. You know, you see your children fed. You see the widows happy. You see them clothed. You see them healthy, Baruch Hashem. And you make statements to that effect. And you give thanks, Baruch Hashem. That's real. That's going to energize you. And that's going to bring that energy to you. And that's going to bring that manifestation right to you. Question is, do you believe it? You got to believe it with all your heart and with all of your soul. Deuteronomy 30 and 10. Let's keep reading Deuteronomy 30 and 11. For this is the commandment which I command you this day. It is not hidden from you, neither is it far off. This was so valuable to me. And I actually lived this in reality. Because number one, I thought God was hidden from me. How many of you had that same thought? I thought I had to go out and find God because he was hiding from me. And I was seeking and searching for. How many of you know what I'm talking about? I thought God was hidden from me. I'm like, man, where am I going to find God? you know what I mean, Oliver? I'm like, okay, let me go search for God in this building. Let me go over here. I'm going to look for God because I got to find God. And you know, everybody talk about God's house. See, like back in the day, everybody's church name was God's house. Oh, this is God's house. Oh, God's there. Okay, let me go over there. Let me go over here. Let me go over there. This is where God is. God is there. And we just read here in this parsha, in Deuteronomy chapter 30 and 11, that it's not hidden from me. Neither is it far off. Because, man, I thought I had to go very far to find God. And you find people that take these pilgrimages. They want to go and they want to find God. And they go out on these journeys and these pilgrimages. I know folks that do this, man. And they go out and they seek God in all these different places and go to all this. But again, we're just told right here in our Torah that we believe in is that, hey, God is not hidden from me. Okay, if it's not hidden from me, then where is it at? If it's not far off, where is it? You see, Torah continues to give us clues when we peel away at the layers of the onion, right? Deuteronomy 30 and 12. It is not in the Shemaim that you should say, who shall go up for us to Shemaim and bring it to us that we may hear it and do it? You see? Again. But that's what Christianity told me. They hoodwinked and bamboozled me, and they told me, oh, it's up in the heaven. We're going to heaven, brother. How many of you were hoodwinked and bamboozled by that one? Oh, we got to go up to heaven, and we're going to get caught up in this rapture, and you got to watch this rapture series. It's called Left Behind. You know what I'm talking about? And yeah, the people that was left behind, Oliver know what I'm talking about, and they had a terrible time of it. But those that were caught up with the angels in the heavens, but we just told right here in the parsha, we have told in our holy book that, hey man, it's not up in the heavens. It's not up in the Shemaim. And look at verse 13 of Deuteronomy and 30. Neither is it beyond the sea that you should say, you shall go over to the sea and bring it for us. Man, bring it to us that we may hear it and do it. You see, all these places, I tell you, this parsha is so powerful for those that really understand that it's not afar off from us, but it's that connection, and we're gonna get there in a minute. Look at verse 14 of Deuteronomy and 30. But the word is very near to you. It's in your mouth. It's in your heart that you may do it, Nachshon. It's in your heart, son. Yep. It's in your heart and it's in your mouth that you may do it. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. It's inside of us. Revelation. Ding, 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 ding. Lights coming on and all that. Yeah, baby. Because I realized that it's inside of me. It's in, like we talked about, when you get up in the morning, what are you saying? It's in your mouth. It's what you believe in. It's what you feel in. I feel like $1 million. Right now, child? It's what you believe in. It's what you feel. You see, this stuff is real. How you feeling, Israel? When you wake up in the morning? How you feeling about that business opportunity? How you feeling about that business relationship? How you feeling about that money relationship? How you feeling about that job opportunity? How you feeling about it? About that marital relationship? About that courtship? How you feeling? How do you feel? And when you can tell yourself, oh man, this don't feel right, it probably is not right for you, man. If it's not feeling right. Deuteronomy 30 and 14 again. But the word is very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart, that you may do it. And then look, verse 15 just sets it all in stone. Baruch Hashem. Todah Rabbi Musa. Moses, not shown. Deuteronomy 30 and 15. See, I have set before you this day life and good and death and evil. That's it right there. That's where your life is. And what is he telling you that you have to do? You have to be able to choose. You have to choose life and good, or you can choose death and evil. It's up to you. It's your choice. It's not what grandmama said. It's not what mama said, water boy. It's your choice. Right now, Sean? It's your choice to choose what you desire for yourself. You choose. And you be able to stand on your own 2 feet as a man and a woman and say, yes, I did make that choice. Yes, I did make that decision and I stuck with it. Yes, it's my desire to have, I'm choosing to do this. And you see, when the situations come your way, all the situation and so-called troubles and rejection, it doesn't matter. Because you smile in the face of that because you understand this is the choice. It's my choice. Why? Because it's in your heart. And when you call into us and say, man, Rabbi, they broke my heart, then I'm going to get the needle and thread out of the sum of mend your heart back together and say, okay, keep it moving. Yeah, your heart was broken. Now it's time to mend it back. Let's sew it back together and keep it moving with whatever you desire for yourself. Don't let it stop you. Don't let it put you down. Don't let it detour you or prevent you from meeting whatever you desire for you, from missing a mark. Let's put it plain and simple. from missing a mark. Then Moses goes on to say in Deuteronomy 30:16, in that I command you this day to love Yahweh your power, to walk in his halachot, to guard his halachot and his statutes and his judgments, that you may live and multiply. You see, not only are you going to have life, but you go multiply. Well, Rabbi, that's just talking about children. No, it's not. That's talking about whatever you desire, multiply it. One of my mentors, he liked to use the 10X. I mean, that's one of his greatest sales pitches. I can 10X anything, 10X it, 10X it, 10X it. You take something and you multiply it. You have life, but you multiply your life. With more lives, that's one way. With more money, that's another way. With more houses, that's another way. You see, you just don't settle. We're not dividers. We're Israel. We multiply. Baruch Hashem. What cartoon? This guy, these Bebe's kids. Well, we Bebe's kids. They say, we Bebe's kids. We don't die. We multiply. Again, we're multipliers. We're Israel. We multiply. Multiply. You don't just settle. That's in our DNA, Mishpachah. But not if you don't desire it. You don't choose to multiply. Some folks just don't choose to multiply. I don't want to multiply, Rabbi. Well, then you won't multiply. That's just it. The conclusion there of Deuteronomy 30:16, and Yahweh your power shall bless you in the land where you go to possess it. What's that land? Man, that's not talking about Israel, Mishpachah. That's talking about whatever you desire to possess. What do you want? Remember we talking about possession? Whatever you desire to possess. What do you want to possess? You want to possess a woman? You want to possess a man? You want to possess that car? You want to possess that house? What do you want to possess? That pet? What do you want to possess? That business? What do you want to possess? That job? What do you want to possess? It's whatever you want. I mean, this is life. These are life factors, Mishpachah. Everybody has them. Everybody needs them. Everybody wants them. But I can't say everybody because people don't. They're not. They're not connected to them. They don't feel it. They say it, but they don't. There's no feeling behind it. It's not in their heart and in their soul. You see what I mean? Soul brothers and soul sisters. It's not in your heart and it's not in your soul. Then you're not gonna possess it. You can talk about it all you want, but it has to become a part of you. It has to become real. Remember we talked about in past lectures. You have to establish that relationship with it. You have to wine and dine it. You know what I mean? Take care of it. Take it to the mall. You know what I mean? Yeah, baby. Nurture it, cultivate it. And we talked about that. This is all universal principles, nothing to do with no religion, but an exceedingly abundant way of living and a way of life that we can all have, Mishpachah. And that's it in a nutshell. That's why this part is so awesome. Because it gets right to the point. What do you choose? Life and good or death and evil? What do you choose? It's your choice. That's why this parsha is so awesome. Get right to the point. Let's just get right to the point, Mishpachah. Family, let's just get right to the point. You know, we can pray till the cows come home, but do you really desire it? Is it really part of you? Is it in your heart and in your soul? If it is, then go pursue it. Go possess it. The possession is yours. It's already yours. I'm sick and tired of that praying crap. How many of you been prayed out? Man, I prayed and, I did so many prayers in Catholicism. Oh, man, we prayed so much. Man, to get out of my sins, I had to pray. Hail Marys, Our Fathers, my goodness. In Christianity, they was more like, okay, pray a little bit, then we go dance a little bit too. And then, you get your little feeling, your little fix, and then it's all done. But then everything in your life is still the same. Or maybe even a little bit worse. And you're like, wait a minute, what is all that doing? It's a load of pig water, Mishpachah, and I don't drink from that. So, I mean, we got to focus, we got to meditate, and we got to just visualize, and then we just got to speak it into existence. Because just like this parsha told us, the word it's in our mouth and in our heart. You see? And just like our Kohen said, from the very beginning of time, our forefathers weren't writers, but they were speakers, and they were speakers and they were doers. They were speak and do, 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 speak and do. Follow everything through that you desire for yourselves. Don't ever quit. Don't ever let circumstance tell you no. Just understand that your success is yes. Don't look at circumstance, look at the success. And you are successful already. Baruch Hashem. You are success. Baruch Hashem. So I give thanks and praise to the Most High. I'm going to wrap it up for the Shabbat. But just remember, Mishpah, what we need to remember, let's just get right to the point. Let's get right to the point. Let's not beat around the bush anymore. We're going to get right to the point when it comes to life. And remember, what do we say about life? What do we say about life? Life has nothing to do with anything or anybody but you. Life has nothing to do with anything or anybody but you. What do you mean by me? Me, you, me, meaning our choices, our decisions that we make, how we feel, how you feel this morning, how you feel this Shabbat, how you feel on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, them 6 days out there of labor, of the labor of love. Because I do what I love and I love what I do. That's just what it is. I'm not going to do something that I don't love. Why are you going to do something you don't love? Do what you love and love what you do. Or learn to love it. And if you can't learn to love it, then find something else to do. But do what you love and love what you do. I mean, that's one of the pillars of success, of a happy life. You know what I'm saying? So on that note, we'll wrap it up for this Shabbat. I'll say Shabbat Shalom and Shalom Shalom to all of you. Have a great 6 days of labor ahead. And let's go out and conquer. Let's go out and conquer. Let's go out and make those steps and propel ourselves into wherever we desire, where we want to be in this life. It's a beautiful life. Let's not waste it on foolishness. Let's not waste it on bad decisions when you have opportunity to make good decisions for yourself. And utilize those bad decisions as experience to make better decisions and make the best decisions for you in your life. So when you pass on your legacy, you can say, man, look, I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you better than it was in the beginning. I'm leaving you better. I'm leaving you in a better situation. When the baton is passed on, you're leaving them in a much, much better situation. That's leaving a great legacy behind. Moses left us in a great situation, didn't he? He left us with the tools, to better ourselves. And not just settle, but to better ourselves. So we should pass on the same tools to our children, our children's children, to better themselves as we multiply. So on that note, we'll wrap it up for this Shabbat. I say Shabbat Shalom, Shalom Shalom to all of you, Mishpah. Have a great 6 days of labor ahead, and let's keep moving forward. Shabbat Shalom, Shalom Shalom. Hey, open up any questions, by the way. I'm going to pass it over to our Kohen if he has anything. If not, we'll close the room up.
Yes, to talk for that, Rabbi Kefa. Yes, whilst we were doing the lecture, my light had gone, so I was on UPS, and that's why it was great that you were able to play my lecture, which is good. So remember I told you last week that you need to keep your focus in one place. And I gave an example of a UPS that I had done last week. I called a UPS guy over that I met through another grapevine, just thinking about it, that I wanted it done. So another guy referred me, and I met him the same night. He came the same night. He looked at it, and I said, I want it done next day. And I did it the next day, and I have a UPS over here now. I can get 5-6 hours of light if there's no light. My laptop can run, my fan runs, my tube light runs, fluorescent light. It's wonderful, Baruch Hashem. That is my point of being on point, like a sniper. When you're like a sniper, you only want the end result. You don't care about middle things, what happens, what parts you need and where you're going to go and how you're going to acquire them. It doesn't matter how many batteries you need to put it in and how many UPS systems. All you care about is the end result. Do you have light? That is living in the end. That's why I keep telling you this, and I keep explaining it to you. And the reason why I say that is because when you envision that you have $100 million in your bank, and that's all you see. You don't care about what Jack says and what your mom says and what your dad tells you, what your brother tells you, what your sister tells you. All you see is your $100 million or more or less, whatever amount that you desire. You see it fixed into your balance. And that's all you look at every day. That is, by the way, that is the fastest way you're going to manifest money. You're not going to manifest money by just repeating it and by saying it, I have $1 million in the bank. You're going to imagine, and your imagination is going to be with your eyes open, not with your eyes closed. Because when your eyes are open and you know what your balance statement looks like, you've seen it millions of times on your maybe laptop, maybe on your phone, maybe on your iPad or somewhere. I mean, you keep looking at it. I mean, you keep seeing that $100 million. And then when you say, why do I have $100 million in my account? And that $100 million will materialize. And $100 million is only an example. It can be a lot more than that. It's only an example. And don't ever think to yourself that you are any lesser than anybody else out there. You know, don't think that just because Jeff Bezos has $1 billion and you're lesser, you're not lesser. You're not lesser than Jeff Bezos. He only has 2 kidneys and so do you. He only has 2 eyes, so do you. 1 nose, so do you. So what's he better in? Nothing really. Just the idea. So when you put your idea to test from where you sit, from your couch, and when you see that idea every day, and you look at it, remember that story about Neville Goddard giving the story about this young man that, his father lost the business, and he kept looking at this building. For 2 years, he kept seeing his name on that building, that he owns it. Yet he had not a penny in his pocket to own that building. And then a man came into town. He said to him, son, I want you to do business for me. I will give you the money. You will get this building for me, and you will run the business the way you want to. And we will share the profits. And he did do exactly that. He put his name on the building. He ran the building for a number of years. And by the time he sold it and he evened out, he took away $800,000 at that time. I think it was about 50s or something like that. 800,000 pounds in 50s is like maybe over $8 million right now. It's a lot of money. So why? What brought him to that realization? Oh, he didn't visualize. He didn't speak. He didn't say this is my building. He didn't say my name is on the building. He just looked at his building and he said, I see my name there. Whatever his name was, he said, I see my name there. That's why I keep telling you that when you see your bank statement with $100 million and it's all you see is $100 million, I don't care what anybody else tells you, you see $100 million. That's your reality. You will get your $100 million. So with that, have a wonderful Shabbat, a wonderful week, and may you be blessed forever and ever. Shabbat shalom and shalom to you.